So for the past month, my 36 husband, 39, has waking up at 5 every night to have a walk. These walks would take about 2 hours. Side note to mention that he's not trying to lose weight, pretty thin. He's not athletic by nature nor has sports interests or hobbies. In fact, he hated doing any type of sport. I'm happy for him since it's an overall positive thing. But yesterday, he came home in the evening after working for long hours, then stayed up late playing with his phone. I went to bed at 10 after getting done with the mess and everything. I woke up by him yelling at me at 7 a.m. asking me why I didn't wake him up for his 5 a.m. walk. He said he missed it and I'm responsible for that. I was so confused. I said that first of all, he always wakes up by setting his alarm. Why should I be expected to wake him up this time? He yelled that he forgot to set his alarm. I said, so what? It's no big deal. It's not like he missed an important meeting or something, but he got more angry and said that those walks help improve his health and restore his energy and help him feel better. I made a comment about how missing one walk won't hurt, but he unloaded on yelling about how I was trying to prevent him from doing his hobby for some unknown reason. I told him he was sorely mistaken, even though I admit that those daily 5 a.m. walks around the Veterans Park are weird, but also his reaction? I really thought it was over the top. He stormed off and went to shower saying I ruined his entire day. When he got out, he started avoiding and ignoring me. Even when I talked to him directly. He went to work and refused to respond to my calls. Really, I'm at a loss, like maybe it was something I said about his walks. But I really don't know. He's sulking nonstop as of now and I'm literally about to lose my mind. IATA? NTA. There's something else going on here. I'm glad I'm not the only one. This is odd behavior, not the walk, but his reaction to missing it. We're gonna need an update after you find out what he's really doing at 5 a.m. Same. He's really upset about missing out on his 2-hour walk for a reason, and I and all of Reddit want to know. Flying off the handle for missing a walk, there's definitely something amiss. NTA. My former Phil started taking an evening walk out of nowhere, for his health. Turns out he was going to bang a woman in her car. Hopefully that's not what your husband is doing, but if it is, it's not your responsibility to make sure it happens. Set your alarm for 5 a.m. and make it a family walk. See how that goes. If he objects, something is definitely up. My gut feeling says he's up to something. I think the reason he is so upset is because he missed a planned rendezvous with someone he can't easily text or call. Follow him next time. Hopefully I am wrong. God, I hope they do an update. I'm so intrigued. Drugs? Secret lover? Gambling? Throwing dice at 0530 in the park? So many choice. Whilst I wouldn't have initially found the daily walks odd, his reaction definitely is. Wake him up at 5 a.m. every day for the next week and go walking with him to make up for not waking him up today. Bet he comes up with an excuse why you can't join him. NTA. I'd straight up just follow him at this point. If he thinks she's trying to suss out where he's going, he'll change his routine. Suddenly he won't be waking up at 5 a.m. anymore. NTA. And I'm not convinced he's just going for a walk. This is the first response I made and I'm relieved I'm not the only one who is questioning those walks. NTA. I am with everyone else so far. This isn't a 2-hour walk. He is either doing drugs or meeting someone for sex. No one who is super tired and forgot to set an alarm would be that mad about missing a walk, unless something is happening on that walk. My first thought was affair, but who wants to have an affair at 5 a.m.? NTA. This is all very suspicious and none of it has to do with going for walks. You know, we're all thinking the same thing. What the hell is he doing? You better find that out and protect yourself from whatever it is he's planning. Please don't ignore this and don't hide in denial. Something is going on. In addition to what everyone else is saying, I'm noticing he stayed up playing on his phone while you were up till 10 dealing with the mess and everything. Does your husband contribute to the household at all? Is there always an unfair expectation of labor division that negatively affects you? There's just a lot of red flags in this post. Maybe it's more correct to say that he stayed up, playing, on his phone. NTA. And his reaction is very weird. You have never previously been responsible for his wake-up call. You were not asked this time to wake him up, and you were also asleep at the time he was meant to walk. This is not even your fault through unreasonable logic. Is it possible he is A. doing something shady on his walks, or B. has had a health scare you don't know about? NTA. Might be drugs. Maybe he is meeting his dealer every morning and then he has some time to consume. Especially as he is avoiding you and yelling, he might have withdrawal symptoms. I would check what he is doing. Maybe you can check where his phone is at that time or just follow him. Yeah, I think this is the best answer, otherwise this situation doesn't make sense. NTA at all. He's not just walking, he's doing something else. You now need to turn detective and find out what. NTA. I'd vote worth the money to even hire someone to investigate this. Obviously you're NTA. You were sleeping, how were you supposed to wake him? It wasn't your responsibility at all to wake him up, but his reaction is certainly alarming. Why would he be having such a strong reaction to missing one morning of his walk? Okay everyone, what are we saying? Affair, drugs, booze, gambling, or something else? Given the time of day, I'm betting he's buying drugs. Especially given how angry he was when he missed his walk. If I was Op, I would follow him on a walk to see what he was doing. Perhaps I'm crazy, but tomorrow I'd wake up at 5 a.m. as well, just to see where exactly he goes on those morning walks. But again, perhaps I'm crazy. ETA. Personally, I don't think it's cheating, as it doesn't explain the desperation and anger. The stakes seem to be higher, where missing his walk has unpleasant consequences. Of course it's possible he's very neurotic about his new routine and you caught him at a bad moment, but his response is suspicious enough to dig a little deeper. Also forgot the judgment. NTA. For real, that's a totally weird response to being tired and missing a walk. A 2-hour walk. NTA. He always set his alarm. He had no reason to believe you'd even be awake at 5 a.m. to wake him up, and he didn't ever ask you to wake him up, and yet he's mad at you because he didn't wake up? That is a very strange reaction. Is there any way to convince him to see a doctor? See a doctor for what? The affair he's having? NTA. Your role in life is not to be a human alarm. But he's definitely not walking alone at 5 a.m. You gotta investigate. Tag along really far back. Prepare yourself. It could be anything. An affair, drugs. Come back and let us know. NTA. Why would you be expected to be up at 5 a.m.? It's not like you were awake and sniggered about him missing his walk. He is being absolutely ridiculous. NTA. If my husband dared to ask, let alone yell, why didn't I wake him up for his walk? My response would be that he's clearly mistaken me for his mother. He should be calling to ask her why she didn't wake him up, because that's the level of ridiculous he's at. He is 39 years old. More than capable of managing his bed and wake times. Not to mention it wasn't for anything he couldn't miss, like a flight or a meeting or a doctor appointment. NTA. Unless you agreed to wake him up that day, then there's no reason for him to expect you to do so. Like, does he expect you to wake up at 5 a.m. every day just to make sure he's also awake? That's bizarre and unreasonable. Even if you had agreed, yelling and storming about it would be a strong overreaction. Is this normal behavior for him? NTA. And keep us posted if you decide to investigate tomorrow. NTA. Not even a tiny little bit. He is an adult responsible for his own schedule. Ridiculous that he would expect you to wake him, especially when you were not planning on being up at the same time.